Breaking news has just emerged that could change everything in the high-stakes legal drama surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. A judge has officially set a new trial date, and the implications are massive. Why was the trial rescheduled? How will this shift impact both the prosecution and the defense as they prepare for what could be one of the most explosive court battles in recent history? This case has already captivated the world, and now, with new developments unfolding, it's clear the stakes couldn't be higher. From the evidence prosecutors plan to unveil to the defense strategies that Diddy's legal team might employ, every move will be critical. Could this new date work in Diddy's favor, or is it just buying prosecutors more time to tighten their case? Stay with us as we break down the timeline, explore the key players expected to testify, and uncover what this trial date shift really means. You won't want to miss the insights, drama, and potential fallout that could reshape not only Diddy's career, but the entertainment industry as a whole.
On Diddy Combs expected back at federal court in Lower Manhattan for a hearing set for this afternoon. Combs' attorneys asking to see more evidence that they say is currently in the hands of federal prosecutors. The music mogul is being held without bail following his arrest in September in a federal sex trafficking case. Combs has pleaded not guilty. His trial is set for May.
The announcement: judge sets new trial date. The courtroom was abuzz with the announcement of a new trial date for Sean Diddy Combs. This decision comes amid mounting evidence and heightened public scrutiny, offering both the prosecution and defense a chance to recalibrate their strategies. The judge cited procedural reasons, including the need for additional evidence review and witness preparations, as key factors behind the rescheduling. This new timeline is expected to shape the course of one of Hollywood's most anticipated legal battles.
Rapper and music producer Jay-Z has been accused of assault alongside Diddy. But he's not the only celebrity that's facing accusations connected to the Sean Combs sex scandal. I've been reporting this story for a few months now. Let's dive into some of the other notable names that are connected. Oscar-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. is accused of groping music producer Rodney Jones while on Combs' yacht in 2023. That's according to a lawsuit filed by Jones. Cuba Gooding Jr. denies the allegations. R&B singer Aaron Hall is accused of assaulting a woman in 1990. The woman filed a lawsuit against Hall and Diddy that alleged that Combs assaulted her first. Both Hall and Diddy deny the allegations. Bad Boy Records producer Harvey Pierre, Diddy, and an unnamed person were sued by Anna Kane, the ex-wife of an NHL player. Kane alleged that the three gang raped her when she was just 17 years old after they trafficked her across state lines in 2003. Pierre denies the allegations. Diddy's son Christian Combs was accused of groping and assaulting a woman who was working on a yacht leased by Diddy in 2022. She says she was given a spiked shot of tequila and that she told the captain, but that he was paid by Diddy as part of a cover-up. Rapper Young Miami, who once dated Combs, has also been named in lawsuits against Diddy. She was accused of being a part of his sex trafficking operation. Another allegation claims that she harassed a woman who was assaulted and impregnated by Diddy to have an abortion.
The legal implications are vast. For the prosecution, it's an opportunity to refine their case and ensure airtight arguments. For Diddy's defense team, the extended timeline could mean more time to dissect evidence and prepare counter strategies. Media outlets have already pounced on the announcement, with headlines speculating about how this delay could influence the outcome. Fans and critics alike are now marking their calendars, eager to see how this dramatic legal saga unfolds. What's at stake for Diddy? The charges against Diddy are no small matter. From allegations of racketeering to coercion, each accusation carries severe legal and reputational consequences. If convicted, Diddy faces the possibility of years behind bars, with the weight of RICO charges amplifying the potential penalties. The trial could also dismantle his empire, tarnishing the legacy he spent decades building.
There's no doubt in my mind that Sean Combs felt that he was above the law for many, many years. There was an early case against him, a criminal case, where he was acquitted. And I think that made him feel emboldened and empowered that he could get away with anything. I know that some of the people who worked for him have said that made them terrified that the law was just not going to come for him. There was not going to be any accountability. I think we might see more criminal charges to come. Dawn has cooperated with the Department of Justice. She's sat and answered questions. I assume other people probably have as well. So that could very well be forthcoming. I think there will be more civil suits as well. People have more control over a civil suit. I have no doubt that there are hundreds more people who have these types of allegations of assault, physical violence, threats, sex trafficking against Sean Combs and people associated with him, and that many are just too afraid to come forward, or that they signed NDAs and they think they have no rights.
Public perception has already taken a hit. Brands have distanced themselves, and endorsements are evaporating, signaling that Diddy's once glittering reputation is under siege. Fans are split, some rallying behind the mogul, citing his contributions to music and culture, while others are condemning him, demanding accountability for the alleged crimes. The stakes couldn't be higher. The prosecution's strategy, building a strong case. The prosecution is leaving no stone unturned in constructing their case against Diddy. Key evidence includes damning recordings, victim testimonies, and financial records that allegedly reveal a pattern of misconduct. Emails and messages provide a digital trail, linking Diddy to acts of coercion and manipulation. Prosecutors aim to weave these elements into a compelling narrative that exposes systemic abuse of power.
He's going to plead not guilty, obviously. He's going to fight this with all of his energy and all of his might and the full confidence of his lawyers. And I expect a long battle with a good result for Mr. Combs.
Do you think he'll be released?
I'm going to fight like hell to get him released, and he should be released with all that he's done and coming here voluntarily.
You said the police were working with you on this case. You wanted to get the report. We talked about this. You said things were going smoothly, but now it's not. So when did that change?
Last night, actually, I got an email from them, the county, not the city police, that then said I needed a subpoena to get the records, which I think we all know about Freedom of Information Act, which requires a public information be given freely. That's why it's a federal law. So I've never experienced in any situation where I have been told I needed a subpoena to get public information. I was floored, I was shocked, and it was apparent to me that some type of cover-up is going on. The Orinda police are in violation of federal law, and I will make sure if they want to be the next facing a lawsuit, they can be the next.
Witnesses are central to this strategy. From alleged victims to industry insiders, the prosecution has reportedly spent months preparing their testimonies to withstand cross-examination. Their focus on NDAs as tools of silence aims to dismantle the defense's arguments while highlighting the alleged misuse of contracts to protect misconduct. Strengthening the RICO charges, prosecutors seek to frame Diddy as the orchestrator of a criminal enterprise, not merely an isolated wrongdoer. Defense plans, fighting back against allegations. Diddy's legal team faces the monumental task of countering the prosecution's meticulously prepared case. One of their primary strategies is discrediting witnesses, aiming to portray them as unreliable or motivated by personal gain. The defense is expected to challenge the authenticity of the evidence, from recordings to digital correspondence, questioning its validity and chain of custody.
In March of this year, special agents from HSI executed search warrants at Combs' residences in Miami and Los Angeles. They also executed a warrant for Combs' electronic devices. During those searches, agents seized evidence of the crimes charged in this indictment. They seized firearms and ammunition, including 3 defaced AR-15s and a large capacity drum magazine. They also seized evidence of the freak-offs, electronic devices that contain images and videos of the freak-offs with multiple victims. And they seized cases and cases of the kinds of personal lubricant and baby oil that Combs' staff allegedly used to stock hotel rooms for the freak-offs, more than 1,000 bottles altogether.
Why are we having this pushed again? I mean, it does need time, right?
Yeah, I think this is an important issue for the judge to determine. At the end of the day, I think it's really difficult for judges to put someone to detain a defendant pre-trial. At the end of the day, though, particularly with a case of this severity, the judge is weighing whether or not he obviously thinks that the defendant is going to flee, in this case Combs, or whether or not Combs is a danger to the community.
Right.
What the government is attempting to do now is to not only demonstrate that he's a risk of flight and that he's a danger to the community, but that continuously, since before even the investigation, Combs has been obstructing justice.
So if he doesn't make it this time, will a fifth bail attempt happen? You can keep trying and trying.
You can keep trying and trying, and he's probably going to go to the Second Circuit and do an appeal and see what the Court of Appeals has to say about it. Even if he doesn't win there, I wouldn't be surprised if they continue to try.
Do you have a prediction?
I think given the seriousness of the offenses and the evidence that the government has proffered, it's unlikely that he's going to be released.
Another pillar of their strategy is to rehabilitate Diddy's public image by framing him as a misunderstood figure caught in the crosshairs of media and opportunistic individuals. The defense seeks to evoke sympathy from the jury, highlighting legal technicalities such as procedural errors or gaps in evidence collection could also play a key role in their arguments. Witness lineup: who's taking the stand? The trial promises a star-studded witness lineup with key players from the entertainment industry expected to testify. The prosecution will call on alleged victims, former employees, and insiders who have intimate knowledge of Diddy's dealings. Their testimonies could be pivotal in painting a detailed picture of the alleged misconduct.
Well, Andy, everything so far is going very smoothly, but you can be sure that's going to change in the months ahead as they get close to that May trial date. But Sean Diddy Combs got a break today from the dismal lockdown atmosphere of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn by appearing here in federal court for this pretrial hearing in his federal sex trafficking RICO case. Now, he won't be going home for the holidays. He's been denied bail 3 times. That didn't stop him from hugging every single member of his legal team. Now, let me show you some of the video from today. His son, Christian Combs, who he's very close to and actually created music and some hit songs with, known professionally as King Combs, was once again at the federal court to support his dad, flying in from Los Angeles to let his father know he was still in his corner and to show everyone that he was standing by him. Coming into the courtroom, the disgraced music mogul, Diddy looked a little rough around the edges compared to how he usually has been looking in these court appearances.
On the defense side, friends, business associates, and experts may take the stand to vouch for Diddy's character and counter the prosecution's claims. Celebrity testimonies remain a wild card, with speculation swirling about whether figures like Jay-Z or Usher might be subpoenaed. If they testify, their statements could either bolster or complicate Diddy's case.
Well, they get a little bit of a break. Of course, Diddy doesn't. He's locked down at the Metropolitan Detention Center, the notorious MDC, we call it. But in terms of the legal team, they're still going to be working because the judge gave them until New Year's Eve, December 31st, to give for each side to give the other side all of the evidence that they have gathered. Now, there are terabytes of digital evidence, and it keeps pouring in. And then also, Andy, but there's a big X factor here, and that is the ongoing criminal investigation, the ongoing grand jury that is hearing new evidence. So there can be a superseding indictment, meaning more charges, possibly more co-conspirators added at any particular time. So I think there was an effort today to get things smooth and on track and keep it that way through the holidays. But I think as we get closer to that May trial date, we can start to see some fireworks erupting in that courtroom as they fight over what that jury is going to be able to see and not be able to see. Andy?
Yeah, that is a very good point. This case might be decided even before the jury walks in the room in terms of what is allowed in this case.
Jay-Z and other celebrities. Will they testify? Jay-Z's potential involvement in the trial has become a focal point of media speculation. His connections to Diddy raise questions about whether he might be called to testify. Subpoenas for other high-profile celebrities are also a possibility, as prosecutors aim to unravel the network of influence surrounding Diddy. The Fifth Amendment looms large in this scenario. If compelled to testify, celebrities could invoke their right against self-incrimination, further fueling public curiosity and courtroom drama. Prosecution pressure to secure testimonies adds to the high-stakes atmosphere, with the media closely monitoring every development.
The federal indictment was unsealed, and this is what we know. He has been charged with federal trafficking and racketeering charges. The sweeping 14-page complaint unsealed in court after Sean Diddy Combs was arrested in New York City last night. This details allegations dating back to 2009, the indictment accusing him of abusing, threatening, and coercing women for years to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. What we know about the arrest happened last night in New York City at the Park Hyatt Hotel. It comes roughly 6 months after federal authorities conducted a sex trafficking investigation raiding 2 of his luxury homes in Los Angeles and Miami.
The lawyer for Sean Diddy Combs is calling this new indictment unjust prosecution, going on to say that he is an imperfect person, but he is not a criminal. And he says Combs has been cooperating with the investigation.
Evidence Spotlight, the most damning details. Prosecutors are expected to present a range of compelling evidence, from recordings and photographs to financial records and digital correspondence. These materials aim to create an unassailable narrative of Diddy's alleged misconduct, connecting him directly to the charges. Recorded conversations and footage from private events could be particularly damaging, offering unfiltered glimpses into the alleged behavior. Financial trails, including payments to victims or associates, serve to substantiate claims of coercion and cover-ups. Emails and texts further tie Diddy to incidents under investigation, while visual evidence could leave a lasting impression on the jury.
Look, Brianna, so Combs' team says that those allegations about those phone calls and tampering with witnesses from behind bars, they say that that is not true. They are denying all of that. There have been filings flying left and right. Today, we've had 2 new filings. Last night, there was an additional filing where they spoke about that video that you just referenced, Brianna. So Combs' team, they are working very hard to try to get him released. As you said, this is going to be his 3rd bail hearing. We'll see if 3rd time's a charm, but right now what we see here is some screenshots from that disturbing video that our team broke here at CNN. Now, what Combs' team is saying in this filing is that prosecutors, they claim that they submitted a version of that video that our team released. Now, we have not seen that alleged video that prosecutors submitted to the court for these bail proceedings.
The role of NDAs, shielding or exposing truths, non-disclosure agreements, NDAs have emerged as a critical element in the trial. Diddy's alleged use of NDAs to silence victims and protect his image has drawn sharp criticism. Prosecutors will argue that these contracts were tools of coercion, designed to suppress damaging stories and maintain a facade of legitimacy. Efforts to invalidate these NDAs could prove pivotal by demonstrating that they were signed under duress or as part of a larger pattern of manipulation. Prosecutors hope to give victims the freedom to testify without fear of legal repercussions. This could set a precedent for how NDAs are viewed in future cases, particularly in the entertainment industry.
Joey, about those personal notes, the prosecution has argued that this was a previously scheduled search. I'm wondering how a judge goes about determining where to land on whether these notes are actually admissible, and do you expect that the phone calls that he's apparently made, allegedly made, to be significant? These like 3-way calls to try to convince witnesses to do one thing or another.
So, Boris, everything has a context, right? And so when you evaluate the context, let's look at the notes. Yes, it could have been a pre-planned search, and it's important to search in jails. Safety and security is preeminent. You want to ensure that. But when you get notes and other materials that could be subject to attorney-client relationship, there should be a filter team that is a team of prosecutors who have experience to go over those records to determine whether or not they could be usable. Now, those prosecutors generally are unrelated to the case. They'll look through it and they'll parse out the material, and if it could be given over to the other side who's on the case, they'll do that.
The jury selection process, ensuring fairness. Selecting an impartial jury in a case as high profile as this is no small feat. Attorneys from both sides will carefully vet potential jurors, aiming to minimize bias and ensure a fair trial. Questions about their exposure to media coverage and pre-existing opinions about Diddy will be central to this process. For the defense, the goal is to secure jurors who are sympathetic to Diddy's narrative and skeptical of the prosecution's claims. Meanwhile, prosecutors will seek individuals who prioritize justice and accountability, ensuring that the severity of the allegations isn't overshadowed by celebrity influence.
Yeah, good morning to you, Craig and Vanessa. This is the 3rd attempt to try and get that bail package through. This time, the lawyers offering $50 million to see if Sean Diddy Combs can essentially pay his way out of prison. The bigger play, though, this morning, attorneys signaling they may try to have this entire case tossed or have a change in prosecutors. This comes after a victory just days ago where those same lawyers successfully had evidence against Diddy tossed. Evidence that prosecutors wanted to use to show that Combs is still able able to allegedly wield power to silence his victims and witnesses from Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, where he has been since September. Prosecutors have now been ordered to destroy copies of notes that they seized when corrections officers swept Diddy's cell, part of a jail-wide sweep of all prisoners. Diddy's lawyers successfully arguing prosecutors had no legal right to see it or to use it. But prosecutors say those notes show he'd been in touch with a witness and suggested the former rapper was trying to pay this woman off to change her story to benefit him on his upcoming trial on sex trafficking and racketeering. Among the prosecutor's allegations, the defendant has continued to engage in a relentless course of obstructive justice designed to subvert the integrity of these proceedings. The defendant has shown repeatedly, even while in custody, that he will flagrantly and repeatedly flout rules in order to improperly impact the outcome of his case. They say that materials that they had seized showed that Combs had been in touch with his family to try to allegedly affect these changes, and also that he even used his children to create social media posts, to create a social media campaign surrounding this trial, which is meant to start in May. We are live in Lower Manhattan, where Sean Diddy Combs will be later this morning. I'm Kirsten Cole, Pix 11 News. Back to you, Craig and Vanessa.
Public and media reactions anticipating the trial. The trial has already sparked intense public debate, with fans and critics divided over Diddy's guilt or innocence. Social media platforms are abuzz with hashtags and trending discussions, reflecting the trial's cultural significance. The courtroom itself is expected to draw a packed audience, with live coverage likely amplifying its spectacle. Media narratives play a powerful role in shaping public opinion. Tabloids, blogs, and mainstream news outlets are dissecting every detail, from witness lists to evidence leaks. The entertainment industry's response has been more subdued, with many celebrities choosing silence over support or condemnation. Possible outcomes, scenarios for Diddy's trial. The trial's conclusion remains uncertain, with several potential outcomes. A conviction could spell the end of Diddy's career, leading to significant legal penalties and irreparable damage to his reputation. Acquittal, on the other hand, might offer him a chance at redemption, though the stain of allegations may linger. A hung jury or mistrial would leave the case unresolved, prolonging the drama and inviting further scrutiny. Plea deals are also on the table, offering a potential escape route for Diddy, but raising questions about justice for the victims.
Let's continue our attention of a major headline taking place in New York City and the pre-trial hearing continuing on in this Sean Diddy Combs case. A pre-trial hearing taking place some 138 days before trial. Let's be joined right now here on the ground in New York by Fox 5's Lisa Evers. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. What can you tell us about what took place inside that courtroom today?
Well, Andy, everything so far is going very smoothly, but you can be sure that's going to change in the months ahead as they get close to that May trial date. But Sean Diddy Combs got a break today from the dismal lockdown atmosphere of the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn by appearing here in federal court for this pretrial hearing in his federal sex trafficking RICO case. Now, he won't be going home for the holiday. Prosecutors gave him that he can look at and have access to in the jail. The prosecution will most likely be allowed to present that horrific video we all saw of Diddy beating Cassie Ventura in the hotel hallway. Images that many say are impossible to unsee or forget. That video is pivotal to prosecutors who are trying to portray Diddy as a violent man capable of running this sex trafficking enterprise. It presents a challenge for his defense team, too. Here's what legal commentator and criminal defense attorney Philip Hamilton had to say on the subject. He is not connected with a particular case. Here's his comment.
And if at the end of the day, they don't like your client, maybe they're not listening to your defense because their minds have already been made up. So the defense is certainly going to have to jump the PR hurdle here in order to be able to effectuate what it is that Diddy wants, which is a win. And that in many respects is going to take a lot of energy out of them. But with the defense team that he's put together, I don't have any doubt that they have the competency and the ability to fight at the highest of levels for him.
And he does, Andy, have a very high-powered legal defense team, 5 people in court every single time that we're seeing them, many more behind the scenes. But prosecutors also have a very tough team, top-notch, as well as mountains of evidence. And Andy, one of the other things that's interesting about this is I asked our legal expert, Hamilton, about all of these civil cases that just continue to mount. We hear, it seems, almost every week of a new one being filed. He said that that's bad news for Diddy, of course, because it's distracting him and his legal team. They have to answer these cases.
Prosecutor as well. Joey, thanks so much for being with us. This is Sean Combs' third try to get out on bail. Do you think he has a better chance this time around?
So he may, Boris. Good to be with you. And here's why. You heard Elizabeth reference the issue of the recording, and here's why it's significant in terms of its manipulation. Just to reset, the critical to his denial on bail were really 2 factors. The one factor related to him being a danger to the community. The other factor being how he would potentially obstruct witnesses. Now, critical in the prosecutor's arguments at those previous hearings was the fact that there's this tape that everyone has seen, and they said, prosecutors did, that tape was in the context of a freak-off. It was in the context of sex trafficking. It was in the context of him being violent as it related to that count in the indictment against Miss Ventura, right, who's referred to as victim 1. But here now comes the defense saying, hey, by the way, the prosecution has misled you, court. This had nothing to do with a freak-off, as is alleged, which were the parties that he was allegedly having, that is P. Diddy, with all of these instances going on with coerced sexual activity, etc., had nothing to do with that. It also had nothing to do with sex trafficking. This was a domestic dispute. Now, it doesn't make the violence in the tape, Boris, any more tenable, right? Violence is violence. It shouldn't have happened, but it gives it context. Now, when you get down to the manipulation of the tape, the reordering of the tape, did you mislead the court? If they did, that's a factual question.
High-stakes testimonies. Who holds the key? The trial hinges on the testimonies of key individuals who possess first-hand knowledge of Diddy's alleged activities. Industry whistleblowers are set to provide explosive insights, exposing the darker side of the entertainment world. Their statements will offer a rare glimpse into how power dynamics operate behind closed doors, shedding light on practices that have remained hidden for years. Victim statements will take center stage, recounting personal experiences of coercion, threats, and manipulation. These emotional accounts aim to humanize the case and reinforce the severity of the allegations. Alongside them, Diddy's former associates, employees, business partners, and collaborators are expected to testify. Whether they align with the prosecution or defense, their insights will be pivotal in clarifying the events under scrutiny.
The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, and there's a lot of names. It's a long list already. And of course, I already know who some of these individuals are, but because of the nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure that we're right before we do that. But the names that we're going to name, assuming that our investigators confirm and corroborate what we've been told, are names that will shock you.
Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami mansions raided by SWAT teams. His sons, Justin and King, in handcuffs in their own yard. Homeland Security tells ET the bi-coastal operation is part of an ongoing investigation.
More money, more problems.
We don't know if the embattled music mogul was home during either raid. ET's reached out to Diddy's reps for comment. Meanwhile, a police presence swarming his high-end Beverly Hills neighborhood. Officers going room to room, carrying zip ties and serious firepower. In the driveway, law enforcement vehicles parking next to, we assume, Diddy's luxury cars. Then, of course, his 2 sons, 30-year-old Justin and 25-year-old King. At one point, they seem to be sharing a laugh. It's also worth noting, Homeland Security tackles sex trafficking crimes, something Diddy was accused of in a lawsuit by his ex Cassie back in November.
Guys, have you seen what you need to sign if you go to a Diddy party? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signor. This is nuts. This has been out for a while, but I've never actually looked at it, and I started highlighting it, and I realized I have to highlight the whole damn thing. This is the most overreaching, craziest non-disclosure agreement I've ever seen, and I want to read it with you guys so you guys get a little bit more of an idea of how crazy this all is. So this is a standard Sean Combs Diddy NDA. Let's read this together, okay? So you can see how controlling, how wild, how evasive, how crazy it is. So this is a confidentiality agreement that's signed by parties he has over, I imagine. The term you, as in the person signing, shall include you, your estate, each corporation or business entity which you have ownership or beneficial interest in, and any all person entities owned or controlled by you, businesses, affiliates, employees, officers, directors, managers, accountants, agents, all your respective heirs, like people, kids, etc., executors, representatives, administrators, employees, licensed successors, anybody who can ever be with you, speak for you, family, friend, doesn't matter. They have now all signed this NDA with you. Wild. For good and valuable consideration, collectively consideration, the recipients efficiently of which hereby acknowledged you irrevocably agree as follows. Sean Diddy Combs, aka Puff Daddy, artist. Privacy is highly valued, and all efforts will be made to maintain confidentiality with respect to all information and other material of any kind. So what's that include? Without limitation, terms, conditions, existence of this agreement concerning or related to directly and indirectly artist, person, corporation, including without limitation, family members, relatives, past or present, fiancés, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, and business associates. Artist parties, and each artist party, except for information or publicly made intentionally by artists, by Diddy, you hereby irrevocably agree that you shall not at any time use or disclose directly or indirectly to anyone any of the following information, any information acquired by you in any manner or by any medium or means whatsoever at any time, past, present, or future, which concerns or in any way relates to artist, any artist party, or any artist business activities, entertainment activities, financial affairs, and or personal life. And all such information shall be deemed confidential, private, secret, and sensitive, and kept by you as confidential unless artist otherwise advises you in writing by his sole discretion. Any and all information, including, without limitation, pictures, recordings, records, documents, property, merchandise related to artists and personal, professional, and other activities at artist or parties, whether prepared on behalf of you or otherwise coming into your possession.
As Diddy faces a new wave of over 120 new sexual assault allegations. This affair has also been accompanied by a flood of misinformation on social media, including Justin Bieber, who is at the heart of many speculations and conspiracy theories as to what happened at the beginning of his career when P. Diddy acted as Bieber's mentor and helped launch the pop star's career at the age of 15. Going viral on TikTok, Instagram, X, YouTube, you name it. This song that users say was released by Justin Bieber back in April and that has now resurfaced following P. Diddy's arrest in September. Here, viewed over 7 million times on this post on TikTok alone, but seen millions of times across all over the social media platforms. Let's take a short listen to this song that may sound like Justin Bieber. You can hear the lyrics of the song. Let's take a listen. So as you can see, the lyrics of the song allegedly include "Lost myself at a Diddy party," where the song appears to make reference to allegations of sexual abuse and other misconduct at the P. Diddy residence.
Is there any way then to prove the veracity of the song, Catalina?
Well, a song that sounds like Justin Bieber, but the song is likely fake. Firstly, there's no concrete evidence to prove the existence of this song, including no official confirmation from credible sources or news outlets. This song does not even appear on Justin Bieber's official catalog of music on his website. We put the song through an AI detection tool that determined that this song is actually likely to be AI generated. Additionally, for example, on this video that we just saw circulating on X, we found anomalies on the people's faces in the clip. You could see anomalies in the eyes, anomalies in the faces that don't even seem human, as well as what is allegedly P. Diddy's face. You can see anomalies in his thumb and his mouth. So all indications that this audio and video, of course,
How prosecutors plan to bury Diddy. Prosecutors are building a relentless case designed to leave no room for doubt. Their primary focus is on the RICO charges, positioning Diddy as the mastermind of a criminal enterprise. By establishing a pattern of exploitation and abuse, they aim to demonstrate that his actions were not isolated, but part of a calculated strategy to maintain control and silence opposition. To dismantle Diddy's public image, prosecutors will highlight past behavior that contradicts his carefully curated persona. This includes exposing instances of hypocrisy, misconduct, and the use of NDAs to suppress damaging stories. They'll bring forward compelling evidence, recordings, financial records, and testimonies to paint a picture of systematic abuse that's impossible to refute. Defense's last stand, Hail Mary strategies. Diddy's legal team faces immense pressure as the trial progresses. Their strategy will likely include challenging the admissibility of key evidence, claiming it was obtained improperly or lacks credibility. They'll question the motives and reliability of witnesses, portraying them as opportunists seeking financial gain or media attention. The defense may also attempt to shift blame, pointing to other individuals in Diddy's circle who may have had a role in the alleged misconduct. This approach aims to create reasonable doubt, making it harder for the jury to deliver a unanimous guilty verdict. Public relations efforts will play a significant role as well, with the defense leveraging media campaigns to sway public opinion in Diddy's favor. The final verdict, what's next for Diddy? As the trial concludes, all eyes will be on the jury's decision. A guilty verdict would mark the downfall of one of the music industry's most iconic figures, resulting in severe legal penalties and irreparable damage to his legacy. Conversely, an acquittal could offer Diddy a path to redemption, though the shadow of the allegations may linger for years. The trial's impact extends beyond Diddy. It forces Hollywood to confront its culture of secrecy and unaccountability, encouraging other victims to come forward and challenging the industry to adopt reforms. Celebrities implicated during the trial may also face fallout as the public demands greater transparency and responsibility. And there you have it, everything you need to know about the latest twist in Diddy's trial. From the new trial date to the potential outcomes, this case is set to redefine Hollywood's accountability standards. If you found this breakdown insightful, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.